Okay, ma'am.
Good morning,
Ma'am, 1
class
minute.
7. We are going to continue with the presentation, and today I intend to finish it because after the vacation I will start with Akbar. I sent a study mat on Akbar which has some extra points, and mostly there are points from your book also, but few things are there which are extra. Did you all read it? I sent a mail.
Yes, ma'am, I've finished it.
Did you all get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Read it during the break.
Akbar.
Read it during the break. After the break, we will start with Akbar and then the later Mughals. Means, from the great Mughals only till Akbar is the first half, and then we take the next three as the later Mughals. So, the great Mughals after Akbar. So, I would like you all to read it, and after the holidays, we will start that. Yes, Shaunak, I told you to start sharing.
I have a question.
1 minute, Sonit. Yes, Shaunak, what is taking you so long?
Yes, ma'am. It was.
Quickly. Yes, Sonit, in the meantime, you can tell me what you want to say.
Ma'am, I know so what we were doing.
Huh?
So I have joined the Zoom meeting now. So what we are doing?
We are doing the Sher Shah presentation. I will complete it today. So I intend to.
Ma'am, can I show it?
Yes, I wish that everyone. I will finish it today, and after the break, we will start with Akbar. In the meantime, read Akbar part in the book and the study material that I have sent you. Yes, start, Shona.
Yes, ma'am. Administrative Policies of Sher Shah by Shaunak Chatterjee, class 7A. Yes, ma'am. This is the introduction.
In brief,
Sher Shah.
present. You need not read everything, but try to present as much as possible. Yes, continue. Shiju?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sher Shah was the founder of the short-lived Suri or Sud kingdom in the Indian subcontinent with its capital at Delhi. His father Hassan Suri was an Afghan Jagirdar of Sasaram in Bihar. Then, while working under Bahar Khan Lohani, an Afghan Jagirdar of Bihar, he got the title of Sher Khan because of killing a tiger in one hand. After that, he returned to his father and acquired the fort of Chunar through marriage.
Then go to the last point. See this as a presentation. Try to present. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So Sher Shah realized the importance of maintenance of a powerful and well-organized army, as it is written here, and also he maintained a vast army at the center like his predecessor Alauddin Khalji, and also introduced some significant reforms in the army. Yes, ma'am. So this is the first fact. Sher Shah maintained a standing army at the center like Alauddin Khalji. His military strength consisted of 1,50,000 cavalry, 25,000 infantry, 5,000 elephants, and a part of artillery. He adopted the practices of maintaining the hulia of the soldiers and that of tag or branding the horses. The soldiers were paid in cash while the officers were assigned. Besides the army of the Sultan, province governor, nobles, and subordinates.
Shukalpo. Continue.
Yes, ma'am. Cavalry consisted mostly of Afghans. It also consisted.
There was background noise.
It also consisted of.
I was mute.
I muted you. Your there was sound coming from the background. Not a problem. Then continue, Shona.
Soldiers were kept in all forts and military cantonments spreading all over the territory of the empire. Sher Shah also appointed a military officer known as Bakshi-e-Laskar for his help in the military administration. There were several Bakshis in the empire to look after the army. Soldiers were provided matchlocks or bows that were commanded by trusted young officers appointed by Sher Shah himself. Sher Shah used to pay personal attention to the employment, training, discipline and payment of the salaries of the soldiers. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, these are some pictures based on this PPT. Yes, ma'am. So the conclusion part. Sher Shah's administration, both civil and military, has been regarded highly successful. Of course, he was not an innovator, but he infused a new spirit in the old institutions and improved them. Sher Shah's success during the short period of his rule challenges the support given by historians to the administrative failures of Akbar and many others on the ground of the short duration of their rule.
Okay, thank you. And you have added a timeline which is also very good, and you have presented all in points. Good. Now, Shona, you can stop screen share. My first question to you, there are just one thing. So you wrote that Sher Shah was not really an innovator. Why did you say so?
Ma'am, because he copied the steps of Alauddin Khalji, and he also infused a new spirit inside the soldiers.
Okay, so he followed, some good policies that were implemented by Alauddin Khalji. That is true. Can you tell me any two of them?
Yes, ma'am. Like he maintained the Dag and Chehda system of branding horses and keeping a record of the soldiers like Alauddin Khalji, and also he maintained a standing army. He also maintained a standing vast army.
Okay, can you tell me what was the strength of Sher Shah's army? Means strength means not the number. In general, what was Sher Shah's strength compared to Humayun as a military general?
Ma'am, Sher Shah's strength compared to Humayun was way more better because he maintained.
Can you be louder?
Yes, ma'am. Sher Shah's strength compared to Humayun was way more better as for me because his army was well organized and he had tactics, means how to do a retreat, he knew the rules of warfare way more better than Humayun. And
he knew what steps to take at what point of time. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can you, one last question is, can you finally tell me that, why do you think Sher Shah could defeat Humayun in both the battles of Khanwa and Chausa?
Ma'am, I think it because he knew the rules of warfare very well, and he also, as I said, that he also knew what to do.
Please be louder.
Yes, ma'am. He also knew what to do in what points of time. So, in the battle of Chausa and the Kannauj, he knew that the artillery was, if he faced the direct attacks of the Mughal artillery, then his army would be broken, and then he would lose.
So you can conclude it this way, be compact. He used war techniques, which was very good, and he was very much organized and well planned in his approach. So he did not do it in an unplanned, random way. Okay, Shona, thank you. Good.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. I'm Shreya.
Yeah, Shriyank, I will come back to you a little later on. Hold on.
Okay.
Shaurabh?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you can start sharing. In the meantime, Shaurya, be prepared. Is Shaurya there?
Ma'am, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, history project by Shara Mukherjee, class 7. It's on administrative policies of Shesha Suri. Shesha Suri was a benevolent ruler and was one of the greatest administrators of medieval India. He introduced many reforms on that basis, Akbar built a superstructure of Mughal administration. His administration has been centralized administration, just like the Sultanate period.
Okay,
Just like the
Shaurabh, what
Sultanate
do you
period.
mean by centralized administration?
Centralized administration. Ma'am,
Take care. Drink water. In the meantime, Sonit and Shaurya. Yes.
did you hear me what I told?
Yes, yes. No, I couldn't hear you. Tell.
Ma'am,
What do you mean by centralized administration?
Ma'am, I think that centralized administration means staying in one place, and from one place you just add from one place you once the administration was happening. Means from one.
Right. Centralized administration means, one king who is the main decision maker. Like we have a central government which takes all the decisions, main decisions related to the country. So like that way only, central means one king under whom the entire empire is. Now he decides who will get what department, what is going to happen. So that is the thing. Okay, continue.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, then I've done this project on the basis on land revenue system. Shesha, the system which Shesha introduced is in most of the places was the Riotuari, wherein the state kept direct relations with the peasants for the assessment and collection of land revenue. But it could not introduce this system in Multan, Malwa and Rajasthan because in Multan, Malwa and Rajasthan, the Jagirdarii system continued to exist. In this system, all cultivable land was divided into 3 categories on the basis of production: viz, good, middle, and bad.
Okay, Shaurabh, my question to you is, how do you think dividing the land can prove to be helpful? Or what are your views? Means, was this a good policy to divide the land into categories? I cannot hear you.
No, sorry, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I think it was a...
was it good? Means, was it a good decision to divide the land?
Ma'am, I think not, because I didn't think it was a good decision.
So you think it was a good decision. Why do you think so?
No, ma'am, I think that wasn't a good decision.
Why do you say so?
Ma'am, because if you divide the land, then you have to first, means the land is then divided. So the bad means if the bad land does not get that much amount of, means the bad land is not being counted, but the good or the middle land is just becoming getting better So I think if you keep
No.
divided cattle,
Here he is doing it for the good of the farmers. So those where the land quality is not so good, he used to fix the revenue accordingly. So they had to pay less tax because he knew that the land was not bad. Now, if all the good quality land farmers and the bad quality land farmers, they had to pay the same tax, that would be unfair for those who are doing, whose land is not so fertile. Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, continue.
Ma'am, now the main points are the good points on land revenue. We know that land was measured according to a uniform system, and it was ascertained what quality of land was possessed by each cultivator. Ma'am, the peasants were given the facility to pay their revenue in two installments in a year according to crop season. Then we know that also that the peasants were given pattas or title deeds by the state specifying the revenue which they had to pay and were asked to sign tabulates, which is a deed of agreement signifying their acceptance to pay required revenue.
Right.
And another good point is that the peasant had to pay 2.5% of the produce in time to be returned to them in case of natural calamity such as flood and famine, etc. And ma'am, according to the orders of the Sultan, the peasants were treated with generosity while fixing revenue. But once settled, they were urged to pay their revenue without any mercy on behalf of the state. And one more point, every care was taken to protect the crop from destruction during the course of war, and if damaged, the peasants were compensated by the state.
That is very important.
Ma'am, this land revenue administration had some defects also, which Shesha suffered. Like the peasants who possessed middle and bad quality of land had to pay more as compared to the owners of good quality land under this system. Then the taxation under which the peasants had to pay 1/3 of their produce as land as a revenue, the Jaribana and the Mahasalana, and further tax for emergencies was certainly heavy for the peasants. Then the peasants have faced difficulty in paying the revenue in cash because of the difference in prices in different areas.
Okay, good.
And ma'am, over here, the system was not introduced in the lands of Jagirdars. Therefore, the peasants of those lands failed to draw any advantage out of it. Then, ma'am, yet the measures introduced by Shesha had largely succeeded in doing good to the peasants and increasing the income of the state. The revenue system of Shesha, therefore, has been regarded fairly good as
compared to those of medieval India. Thank you, Shura. Thank you.
The last point of the defense that he comparatively did not charge
much taxes from the peasants.
The peasants.
Okay. You take a break. Thank you, Shura. That's all right. You can stop screen share. Your points are good, and I like the fact that you have compared and you have tried to show both the sides, which is a very good thing. But usually, yes, since the quality of the land was measured, the revenue was whatever is being produced, 1/3 of that. But yes, you can say it this way: 1/3 from all cannot be good. So those who are having a bad quality land could have been 1/4. Okay, so then they could have kept a little more with them. That is one point that I do agree with you, and the other points are correct. Thank you. And you drink warm water, take steam, take care of your health, my dear. Absolutely. I'm very sure you will get well very soon. Okay.
Okay,
I
ma'am.
will move on to Sonit. Sonit, I missed you. Sonit? I missed your
Yes.
name.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. So, ma'am, I am showing it.
Yes, absolutely. Sonit, I missed your name. So Sonit will start.
Okay, ma'am. Wait.
Ma'am, meanwhile, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am, if you don't mind, the question which you asked to Somnath, that uh, did how did Shesha won both the battles of Chausa and Kanauj? Can I say the answer?
No, not now. I have
Ma'am,
heard your turn, so I'm going turn by turn. I want to see who has understood which part.
Oh, actually.
Okay. Continue, Sonit.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, in the meantime, can you tell me from 140, do you have any class today, 140 to 230?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so those who will be left to present, I would want to meet you all at 140. 140 to 230, I would like to finish your presentation because after the holidays, I will start with Akbar and then the rulers after Akbar. So that part is left for your syllabus.
Those who have already presented, is it okay if we don't join?
No,
Because I have
no,
a
those who
class
have
at
already
2.
presented may not join. Yes,
Okay, ma'am.
continue.
So, ma'am, may I leave?
No, no, not
Huh?
now. I'm telling for
Okay,
140 class.
okay, okay.
Yes, sorry, continue.
Introduction. Shesha was the founder of the Sui dynasty in North India with its capital at Delhi. Shesha took control of the Mughal Empire in 1540. He first served as a private before rising to become a commander in the Mughal army under Babur and then as the governor of Bihar. In 1537, when Babur's son Humayun was elsewhere on an expedition, Sher Shah conquered the state of Bengal and established the Sui dynasty. A brilliant strategist, Sher Shah proved himself a gifted administrator as well as an able general. His organization of the empire laid the foundation of the later Mughal empires, notably Akbar, son of Humayun. This is the
content.
index.
Yes, then next.
Sher Shah abolished all the duties which were charged on merchandise at different places with his empire. Within his empire, he ordered for the collection of trade tax only at 2 places. One
Okay,
when
Sonit, this much is, try to present. Okay, you need not read everybody, for this is for everyone. Try to present that Shesha's kingdom, he removed all extra taxes and kept only 2. Can you tell me why did he take this step? Why do you think he decided to make this policy of removing all taxes and only keeping 2? If there are more taxes, the king will get more.
I think to encourage trade and commerce.
How? How will that encourage trade and commerce?
So that the merchants do not have to pay that much money.
Too much of money need not be paid, but then again, it is simple and they know how much to pay. Okay, so if it is simple, more merchants will come, and if they are also earning profit and giving some to the government, so there will be more merchants. Okay, continue.
Interesting fact too. There were police system, justice, protection of trade on roads, traders on roads, issue of gold coin, were all such measures of Sher Shah, which indeed induced development of trade and commerce. Sher Shah also protected the property of traders and orders were issued to officers to look after the interests of traders. Sher Shah also stopped using old coins and debased coins and issued new coins of gold, silver, and copper of all denominations of standard weight and of good metals. He also fixed up the relative values. His silver coins issued by Sher Shah was known as Rupaya. Sher Shah's name and title and place of mint were invariably inscribed on the coins in Arabic characters. Some of his coins were
Next point in Arabic characters. Correct. Next point.
his silver coin without its inscription lasted through the Mughal period and was retained by the English also up to 1835-18. V.S. Smith has remarked this.
Okay, this part you need not read. Next point.
Interesting fact number 6. One of the greatest achievements of Sher Shah in administration was his construction of roads, connecting important parts of his empire with his capital. He also repaired many old roads and constructed new ones. He also planted shade-giving trees and trees of fruits on both sides of the roads. Sher Shah reconstructed the following highways.
Okay, that is fine. So read, the road served many purposes. What are the purposes? Read that.
Roads served many purposes. The defense, quick and regular dispatch of the news, facility of trade and commerce, and convenience of the
To travelers.
convenience. This is a grand part of the Grand Trunk Road.
Next.
Interesting fact number 7. Sher Shah constructed nearly 1,700 sarais on both sides of the roads. Each sarai had separate quarters for the Hindus and the Muslims, a well and a mosque, and was looked after by a shikdar.
Okay, next point.
Interesting fact number 8. Sher Shah maintained a highly efficient spy system. Spies were appointed at all important places with all important officers. The head of the intelligence.
This much is fine. Now you tell me, why do you think a spy system is very important in our administration? Why do you think having a spy system is very important?
Ma'am, I think so that the people who are living in this empire could not do crime as they are in the eyes of the kings.
Okay, they could not do crime, and they also do not revolt against the king. There are other kingdoms, if they are trying to attack, he gets the news. Okay, one more question I would like to ask you. Can you find any similarity or difference with Babur and Babur's administration and Sher Shah? Anything that you would like to come up with?
Who is recording now?
Can you find any similarity with Babur or difference with Babur?
I cannot understand.
I am telling you to compare. Can you find any similarity or difference as a ruler between Sher Shah and Babur?
Between Sher Shah and Babur, I think there is a difference. Like Um,
Did both of them look after their people? You know, they were wives, and they wanted to look after their people. The interest of the people was very important for them. The welfare of the people. Sorry.
yes, ma'am, I think.
Okay. And did both of them, they have good war techniques? They were good military people, military leaders.
Yes, ma'am. They were good military peoples.
Okay. Continue, Sanit.
The defaulters were severely punished. 2 horses were kept at every sarai so that the news carriers could get fresh horses at short intervals to maintain speed. The success of Sher Shah's administration largely depended on the efficient organization of his spy system. How good or bad I think his policies were. Sher Shah died after a brief reign of 5 years during the siege of Kalinjar fort south of Allahabad. These 5 years were spent in warfare against Rajput, yet he found time to implement administrative and revenue reforms that Akbar the Great and subsequent Mughal emperors adopted, and that in some form or the other continue to serve the government of India, Pakistan and Bangladesh.
Okay,
Akbar was
okay,
so
that's it. You can stop screen sharing. So I would like you to tell me 2 points you find good in his administration and 2 points you find not so good in his administration in your own words now. You can stop screen share.
Remember, I have a timeline. Can I show it?
I have a
Timeline.
Oh, sure.
And this is the timeline.
This is the timeline. Very good. Good that you have added this. Yes. So, Sonit, can you tell me any 1 point, any 2 points that you think was good and any 2 points that you think was not so good in his administration? And in the meantime, I cannot find Shaurya. Shrirup, you can get ready to share. Start sharing. Yes, Sonit, answer.
2 points of which were good. Ma'am, I think that the 2 points that were good about Sher Shah that he removed the taxes, most of the taxes in trade and commerce.
Extra taxes were not there, and any other okay, 1 point of good, 1 good point, any one negative point, anything that you find is not so good?
Negative point.
Yes, anything that you feel is not so good?
Ma'am, I think the coins were no, not the coins.
Okay, thank you, Sonit. Before Shriru, can you get ready to share? In the meantime, I would like to wish class 7A a very, Merry Christmas in advance and advance Happy New Year. I will be meeting you all again in 2022. So 2022, yes, since I will be meeting you all and not in 21. So this year seemed to pass so quickly. We started this journey and almost we are in
end.
Yeah, we are in the last class of 2021. It just seems like, this was April and it was your first class and we were discussing and starting. So it's very, what should I say?
All passed so quickly, we cannot understand.
It passed very quickly. So I can only say this that all of you, but this is for everyone. I hope, I pray that the coming year is very, very good for you all. It keeps you all happy. It keeps you all healthy, and you all come back to school, meet us. We get to meet each other, and it's a, things turn in the positive way as much as possible. Take care. We'll again meet, of course. Then I'll wish you Happy New Year properly and Merry Christmas. Enjoy your break, but do a little studies also. Yes, Soham.
Ma'am, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any advice? How can I means how can I keep myself better? Because when I was doing the project, I had fever. When I was doing the project, I had fever. I had that fever again twice.
I cannot hear what you are saying, Soham. Anyway, but I will continue with the project. Everybody read Akbar and come and take a note of the extra part. So after the holidays, we will start with Akbar, okay? And Shrirup, I'm telling you from a long time to share. Where did Shrirup go? Shrirup is not here. So can I move on to Shukalpo? Now, I would like to take the names. Rudro Priyo, Shraddha, Srijita, Shrestha, Shreyam, Shreyan, Shrinika. Okay. Soham could not do it last day. Shaurya, Shourabh did it, yes. Shaurya and Shiru. And then Shukalpo, you can start sharing. I'll see your full work. Swastik, Swayam, Ujash. You people can join at 1:40 today and present, please. Because I will not continue like this for long. Otherwise, after the holidays, maybe one day after the main class, I'll give you a little extra time to share. Yes, continue, Shukalpo.
Sheshasuri. Index. Sheshasuri. Introduction. Sheshasuri or Farid Khan was born in 1486 in the Sasaram in the Rohtas district, which is in Bihar. He was the founder of Suri Empire, which is also called the Sur Empire. He had his capital in Sasaram, which is in modern day Bihar. He first introduced the currency of the rupee. Shesha took control of the Mughal Empire in 1540 by defeating Humayun. Shesha's family. His grandfather, Ibrahim Khan Suri, was a landlord in the Narunal area, and his father, Main Hassan Khan Suri, was a horse breeder and a prominent figure in the government of Bahlal Khan Lodi. Shesha's military administration. Shesha maintained a large standing army comprising of cavalry, infantry, and elephants. He continued Alauddin Khilji's system of branding of horses and maintenance of records of soldiers to check corruption.
Okay, Shukalpo, you can go to the next point, but I have a question here. Why do you think